Here's a question for you. What if the biggest problem in your business has actually nothing to do with the market, the economy, or the competition? What if it's sitting inside your walls, showing up every single day, and you've been misdiagnosing it for years? You hired good people, you explained what you needed, and it still came back wrong. And it's not a people problem. This is a communication problem. And today on this short video, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it. I'm Dan Bro, your guide to creating a business that doesn't depend on you. So let me describe where most business owners are right now. You give someone a task, you feel like you were clear, you move on. 3 days later, they bring back something that's almost right or completely wrong, or they didn't do it at all because they weren't sure if it was urgent or what to prioritize. You fix it, you step in, you redo it yourself, and the thought starts forming, do I have to do everything myself around here? Am I the only one that can do this right? And that thought right there is one of the most dangerous beliefs in business, and not because you are arrogant, because it makes you the bottleneck and it keeps you the bottleneck. I remember when I had this problem, I've had it many times over the years where I would give someone something, I thought I was clear because it was clear to me the way I explained it. They said they understood. And then what I actually got back days later was a complete waste of time. And the issue is that as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we are typically visionary. We are up here. We see things in months, quarters, years, decades. So it's easy for us to connect the dots. For the people that work for us, most of the time, they're thinking about the weekend. And they don't want to disappoint us. They don't want to inconvenience us. So they are more likely to not ask questions when they don't understand something. So one of the primary targets for a business owner, for a leader, is to communicate clearly. You have to communicate more clearly, more consistently, for a longer period of time, and in more detail than you think you should or than you want to. It's not fun, but it's what's required. Because this cycle is costing you. It's costing you your time. Every rework session, every correction, every task that comes back wrong and it has to go back out, that's time you never get back. And it changes how you trust your team. The more often they miss things, the less you delegate, the more you take on, the more everything stays on your plate, the more roles you own, the more tasks you own, and the bigger you get, the heavier the business gets. And you wonder if you can ever even grow the thing. You are the ceiling. You found your ceiling because you are the system. And you have created a business that runs on your effort, and it can only grow as much as you are willing to increase your workload and your hours. But you're probably already getting to the point where you're burnt out. You're already feeling that it's too heavy. It shouldn't be this hard. You want to find a better way, but you don't know how yet. So flip it. I mean, imagine delegating every single task and having it come back exactly the way you wanted it to. You didn't have to follow up. You didn't have to clean it up. You didn't have to step in yourself. You didn't have to explain the thing twice. You are able to just clearly communicate with your team. You make a decision. You get the work. You get the result. And you didn't have to step in. And this isn't because your team suddenly got better. They just finally understood what execution and winning actually looked like. So I've spent years managing teams, delegating projects, building businesses, and helping hundreds of business owners do the same. And I've also made mistakes in every single area. The turning point for me was when I realized that people can't read my mind. Relationships are inefficient. People are the hardest part about business, and communication is the hardest part about people. So I could have the perfect strategy, the perfect plan, and if I can't communicate that clearly to my team in a way that they understand it and how they're going to execute, it's going to go nowhere. So the problem typically isn't the people that you have. It's often how you communicate with them. So here's a framework I use. on every task that I delegate, any project that my team members are using or doing, they have to use this because it creates total clarity on both sides. So, number one, what is the purpose? Why does the task even exist? What is the goal? What does it serve? If they don't understand this, they will make assumptions, and that is where number one things start to break down. So what is the task? What needs to be done? Why does it need to be done? That's step one. Step two is the deadline. It needs to have a date. It needs to have, when's this due, by when, and why does it matter? The why it matters is key, because if they don't see the picture of how it fits into the rest, they will often let it slide. So they need to know why it's important to get it done right then. The next is the parameters. So what are the limits? Budget, tools, scope, how much work they can put it into it, how much resources they can use. You need to define that, because if you give them a task that they're supposed to finish, you would think reasonably in 2 hours, and they spend a week on it, that's probably a lot of wasted time and money. So if you don't clearly communicate that, they will most of the time, either spend way too much time on it or not enough, and either way is bad. Next, we need to define, what is the definition of done? How do we know this is completed? What does it look like when it's done? What is the output? What does completed look like? What is it? How is it going to be delivered? That's the next step, is how is it going to be delivered? To whom? In what format? Is it email? Is it Slack? Is it a phone call? Is it a printed document? What is it? Is it updated in the CRM? We need to know how it's delivered and who it's delivered to. Next is, what are the resources they can actually use? The tools, the budget, other people, documents, data. We need to know this. Otherwise, they may utilize things that they don't have clearance for, or you don't approve, or they may not use things that they could actually use to get this done way more quickly. Next is the potential conflicts. So what else is on their plate that could interfere with getting this done? And once you have this, you have them reiterate all these things, so everyone's on the same page. You see if they have any final questions. And if they don't by this point, you are so far along the path of getting the exact result you want. And I know it sounds like more work up front. It is. It is more work up front. But this is the measure twice, cut once principle, where, heck, I've done so many flips where we had contractors that were cutting corners and doing the quick jobs and not doing what they should have done. And, I've had people, they put in a whole backsplash in a kitchen and they didn't do it right. So we had to then tear the whole thing out, buy new material, put it all back in. That took up so much more time and energy and money and frustration than if we had just taken a little bit more time to set things up right the first time. So the gap is not typically in your employees. It's easy to blame them, a lot harder to look internally. So think about, what can you do to be more clear? It's not about motivating your people. It's about being clear with them. So this week, before you delegate a single task, run it through these 7 points. It takes 3 to 5 minutes, but I can promise you it'll save you hours on the back end. And when your team messes something up, don't automatically think that they are the issue. Reach for better communication and better understanding. So the owner who cracks this, the ones who build genuinely strong delegation systems, they are the ones who get their time back, because they know that standards can be maintained even when they are not personally handling something. They build teams that can execute without them. They stop being the bottleneck. And the ones who don't do this, they stay the system. They micromanage, they have to do rework, they have to handle things themselves. They wonder why they can't step away. They wonder why things are getting heavier. and more stressful as they grow. The gap isn't motivation, it's communication. So we need to fix that communication process. If you would like to know more about how do I upgrade my leadership, how do I upgrade my team, how do I upgrade my systems, how do I upgrade my communication, click on the link below. We can schedule a short call to discuss what your business looks like now, where you want it to go, and what's standing in the way. But for now, take this process, put it into play in your business this week, and watch your results improve and watch your business become less dependent on you with every project.